a Williams System 7. You can tell because the battery holder is down in the lower left, and it may say System 7 somewhere on here, but this one came from a Black Knight, and I want to show you what it's doing. I have Leon's System 7 test ROM in here. It's a 2732 version. I have moved this jumper down one location, and then you have to make a cut and a jumper on the back of the board to allow 2732 at this is IC 17's location. This is 14, 17, 20, 26. How do I know that? I've done this 1,000 times. So let's show you what happens when it boots. Let's see, I'll pan back. So you got the zero, well, I'm sorry. We have Leon's ROM working right now. It is blinking a blanking LED that I've placed onto this board. This is one of my driver boards also, so the blanking is blinking here also. Well, what I want to do is press this diagnostic button, and Leon's test ROM will test these 2114s here and the 5101 up here. So you can see that sequence went 1, 2, and then it froze on 2. And these LEDs on the right follow that pattern also. 1, 2, and then if it tested 3, both LEDs would light up. What that indicates, per Leon's documentation, is that if a 2 remains on the display, the problem is with IC19, which is 5101. I come back over here to IC19, and I am immediately suspicious, since that is an AMI 5101. So let's pluck that out and replace it, and I'll be right back. Here we are testing that RAM. Doesn't take long to test bad, does it? So this is that AMI RAM that I took out of the board, and I'm going to put in one of these beautiful ceramic kind of military grade 5101s, and I've installed a coin cell battery backup. So let's boot it for the first time since I replaced the 5101 and install this coin cell. What I expect will happen is it will boot into audits because the 5101 contents are incoherent. I like to use that word. Actually, let's get that Leon ROM out of there, but first let's do the test. I'm going to press the test button again. That is what it's supposed to look like with Leon's ROM on a System 7 with a fully functioning board and both the 2114s and the 5101 operating correctly. Okay, I've installed the blue IC17. Again, this is 2732. This board also had a failed IC14. IC26 was okay. 20 had failed. And I'm not sure whether or not the microprocessor had failed. I was not getting a clock signal with a couple of the microprocessors that I put in there. So I did replace the crystal and these sort of Kickstarter ceramic caps that are on the side. So this should boot into audits. Let's see if I'm surprised. Nope, there we have audits. Now I'm going to flick the power switch off and then on quickly. And, well, actually that wasn't necessary to do that, just off. And then on, and the memory contents are being retained now since there is a power source for the 5101 to back it up. So while we're here, let's check the rest of the system. Lamp matrix is doing what it's supposed to. Let's get into test. I have my full complement of Victor test boards here. I can actually have a System 7 soundboard, so now I can connect the sound test board, which I don't get to use except for System 7. Here's one thing you'll find interesting, at least I do, is solenoid 16 is turned on right now. That is the coin lockout solenoid. If I put the game into free play that solenoid will turn off. So if you're in free play, no need to lock out coins. Of course, me doing it now won't do any good, because before I ship this board back, I have to remove this lithium cell battery. All right, we are into test. And this Victor display panel, that's working properly. And the next test is the sound test, which just goes through each of the 6 possible sound drives. And if I had a soundboard connected right now, it would be making sounds. Next test, I think, is lamp test. Yes, sir, Bob. That's something my dad used to say. And the next test, I believe, is solenoid test. Yep. And this is my solenoid driver board, so we're really not proving anything here, since I know that this board is working 100%, other than the interface across the 40-pin connector is working properly. Now, solenoid 16 will go out up to the special solenoids. I think I missed that top left one while I was panning, so we'll let it come around again. But while it's coming around again, I can exercise these special solenoids via the switch inputs, and that's operating correctly. Let's let that come around again so that I'm not yakking. Yeah, here we go. So that proves that the CPU board can drive the special solenoid through the 40-pin connector and through this bit of logic. And here's the tip 102s that do that. This is the one-shot trigger board. I don't have it connected right now, but this is highly recommended. It's very easy to connect, and this prevents your solenoids from burning out. Absolutely. A fuse won't get the job done. A fuse requires the current to rise to the value of the fuse to protect the system when the fuse blows, but once the current rises to that value, your coil's already damaged. The last test is switch test. And so Black Knight has 46 switches. There it is. You can do that one more time. I was looking at something else as I was doing this. Nice. So that is it. This test is completed. I wonder what will happen if I run through these on a System 7 board. Yeah, it reboots. System 3 through 7 does not reboot. So this board is good to go. Thank you so much for sending it.